So this is the fourth time I've tried to record this simple video. So I've got a bit of a pile here of comics I bought the other day. So we're gonna go through some of them. There's nothing particularly interesting here except for the bit at the bottom. But we're gonna go through some of these books. So I got this book, Secret Defenders number 7 and 8, because of the team that was on the front. So the Secret Defenders is pretty much comprised of whoever shows up at the time, whoever's around. But this particular team is Spider-Man, Captain America, Doctor Strange, and Scarlet Witch. I like all four of those characters. So having them together in a story seemed appealing to me. So I got those. I read them. They were pretty decent. And I got Secret Defenders number 12 because of the cover. It's a great Thanos cover. It's got the foil. This book is interesting. Oh, by the way, all the colors are really fresh and awesome in these books. The colors are not faded at all. They look fantastic. Here we are. Look at that. Anyway, this book has an interesting part in it, a sort of Easter egg. A lot of instances such as this happened in the 90s for some reason. You can see Darkseid's featured on Thanos' monitors. Anyway, next we have Sun Devils number 1 by Jerry Conway and Dan Jurgens. I haven't read this yet, but the colors are really nice, and it looks pretty decent. So I'll be having a look at that pretty soon. So this is She-Hulk, or Sensational She-Hulk number 50, the foil cover. I saw this was, oh, by the way, all these books were $1, so I'll just give you a reference for that, except for the book I'm going to show you last, which was $5. So She-Hulk number 50. Next, I got Aquaman number 1 from the 90s run. Evidently this is the second printing, which I didn't know when I bought the book, but it doesn't matter. It was only $1 and it's not a valuable book anyway. I did read this. It was pretty decent. Not fantastic or anything like that, but decent. And so I'll be reading the rest of the run at some point as well. So I've got number 1, number 2. It's a bit of a weird cover. It looks like he's rocking out. The rest of the cover looks really good though. I like the colors. Number 3. This is another one where Aquaman has a bit of an odd face. Look at that bit of detail there. You can see the shade that the armor casts on his body, because there would be a sort of dip between his pectoral muscles there. That's like an interesting bit of detail. This next cover is probably my favorite, purely because of the bubbles and stuff. Like, you can see the motion. It looks very dramatic. You can see what's going on. There's a sort of illusion of motion. I like it. Number 5. Nothing really special about this cover. It's fine now. number 6. So this Aquaman series picks up basically right where the 1980s miniseries left off, where Aquababy dies and Mira leaves and stuff like that. Aquaman number 7. I'm not a huge fan of this cover. I like the greens and the colors and stuff, but I don't really like the art on this cover very much. Aquaman looks strangely effeminate as well. Aquaman number 8. This is a very cool cover. I like the colors. I like the shading. I like the background. You can see a battered man up there. Very, very cool. I like that cover a lot. And lastly, Aquaman number 9. Unfortunately, I couldn't find number 10. And that's unfortunate because this is part 1 of 2 of a story. So I guess I'll just stop reading at number 8 until I find number 10. So the last book I have here is The Ninja Turtles Guide to the Universe. And this is really cool. You'll notice they all have the same color. It's because they're based off the comic versions. But this is really cool because it's like the DC Who's Who, or the definitive or the official handbook of the Marvel Universe, stuff like that. In that it has bios on all of the Turtles' equipment and enemies and stuff like that. Outer space combat, damage and okay, so this is for a game. But look at this. The art is really good in this as well. It'll take a minute to just look through this. So I got this for $5, and allegedly, according to my sources, it goes for anywhere between 20 and 100. That's what I've seen online reported. But yeah, I don't know that this would go for too much because it's not a first printing. It is in really good condition though. I should mention also that I have a podcast. It's called Knights, a Marvel podcast. It's about street level heroes and underrated stories and stuff like that. You should go check it out on Podbean and iTunes. My Podbean hosting website is ethanainsworth.podbean.com, and if you have an Apple device or the podcast app, you can go find me there by just searching Knights, a Marvel podcast. Anyway, that's enough looking through that book. New episode today of Knights and Marvel podcast as well.